Sorry, I forgot to put my camera on. Good morning, Crochetpreneurs. It is time to chat about all things crochet business. So welcome. Happy to have you here. My name is Pam Grice, Crochetpreneur. I'm on a mission to help 100,000 makers build financial freedom through crochet. And this is our first episode of Coffee with Crochetpreneur. I've set aside an hour of my morning before we get the day started to answer your crochet business questions. So get brave. I put the link over there in the comments, and I'll put it up there periodically throughout our time together. If you don't already have the link, I'll put it there in the comments and you can grab it. If you want to come on camera, be brave, come on camera, and we're going to chat about your business and brainstorm maybe some great next moves for you. So I'm super excited about this opportunity for you, for my YouTube channel, and all of that good stuff. So if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that. Like this video so it goes out to some more crochet business owners and they can hop on as well. I don't know if you can hear I have a electric fireplace. The fan just turned on, so I'm not sure if you can hear that. But anyway, who wants to chat? We have our first friend backstage. Wilka said, I can't come on camera with you today as I just dyed my hair. And I'm covered in hair dye. Funny. Farron's here today. Awesome. I'm so glad to have you here. All right, I'm going to take one more sip of my coffee before we get started. And while I'm talking to someone else, feel free to click that link and come backstage. We have like a green room set up, and you can just, you'll just pop backstage and I'll bring you on camera. We'll just go first come, first serve. So awesome. I don't have my Coffee with Crochetpreneur mug yet, but it's on its way. This one is from my friend Betsy, who is a strengths coach. She was my strengths coach, and she has all my strengths listed right here so I can remember them when I have my coffee in the morning. So that is fun. All right, I have Liz backstage with us. So Liz, if you're ready, I'm going to go ahead and bring you on camera. There we are. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And go ahead and say hello and let us know about your business and what your question is.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
I actually have not launched my business yet, and that's why what I wanted to talk about is it's kind of funny because I was actually typing up this question in the Facebook group when it popped up that you were live. I'm like, this is even better.
Perfect.
So I know who I want to connect with my business. I really want to connect with, and I don't know if this is too loosely defined of a market, with women who have been through trauma. Okay. And I have this picture in my mind of a YouTube channel where I'm crocheting, tutoring, whatever, and also talking about like the symbolism of the piece through a healing lens.
Ooh.
My problem is I don't know, am I selling products? Am I designing and selling patterns? Could I do both given this business model? And then what kinds of products? And I think that's kind of funny because I was just listening to your podcast this morning from yesterday where you were talking about if people start with product and then try to find people, it's not going to work. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of funny that I know the people, but I don't know the product.
Well, but that's okay because you know your people, and so you can start working on what do those people want and how can I create products that they want to purchase, whether it's physical products or designs. What do you feel like? I always recommend as you build a hybrid business model that has multiple income streams that you pick like one direction, start with that and get that really rolling and get some systems in place and really find your audience and serve them so that they can support your business while you're adding on another income stream, because you kind of get pulled away a little bit when you add on the next income stream. So if you had to pick where you would like to start, what would that look like?
I would probably start with just a YouTube channel and then ask, what do you,
Mm-hmm.
what do you want? Ask at the end of the, excuse me, my mouth is really dry. So I'm going to have my big coffee.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's a good idea, to just start with the YouTube and go from there.
And you
And
could
just
start
do
building an
some
audience.
tutoring. And I have a lot of trauma in my background, and I'm willing to share my story that way to help other people.
Awesome.
And crochet saved my life when I was going through that. So it's something that's really near and dear to my heart to share that
Yep.
and to help other people that are going through that, whether it be to give them a finished item that they can it can be a comfort item for them, or whether it's teaching them how to crochet so that they can work out their frustrations the way I did,
So I think that you're going to have to decide, am I speaking to the person who wants to crochet, or am I speaking to the person who wants my physical products? My guess is you're going to get more traction speaking to the person who wants to crochet, because people who are looking for physical products aren't necessarily, it just doesn't seem like it would be tough to create a YouTube channel that attracts those people and then gets them to buy a physical product. Not impossible at all whatsoever. So if that feels discouraging, don't listen to me and just do what you want to do. So my gut feels like if you spoke about the healing power of crochet and how it helped you heal, and then offering that same path to other people, whether they know how to crochet now or they learn from you, I feel like that's a smooth transition for a business model.
Okay.
I would look into, I don't know if you have a background in psychotherapy or anything like that. If you don't, I would have something on your site to say, like, I'm not a psychotherapist, I'm not your psychotherapist. I'm simply sharing from my perspective and that kind of thing, and maybe link to BetterHelp or some sort of platform where if people do need, if they're having a mental health crisis, or if they need to go process something deeper, that they have that resource to do that. They're not just kind of left maybe triggered or feeling anxious or whatever it is without having help for that as well. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, good point. I hadn't thought of that.
So, and eventually you might even be able to get sponsored by one of those, particularly BetterHelp. I see them on YouTube sponsoring people all the time.
Right.
So that could be an option for you to work toward down the road, to get them sponsoring your show or whatever.
Perfect.
With YouTube, do some research on how to start a YouTube channel, how to get your videos found by people. So SEO for YouTube. Yeah, and just be consistent and get going.
Sounds good.
I'm excited for you. Do you have your business name yet so people can look you up? Have you built a channel yet? Any of that?
I have not started the channel yet. I did come up with a name, which is It's a Handmade Life.
Nice.
And I feel like that really fits. Like there's some symbolism there too, So yeah, I'm excited about it. I needed that clarification. So thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I'm excited for you. So are you the Liz that I was talking to on email yesterday?
I am.
Hi, Liz. So, all right, because once you mentioned your business name, I'm like, wait, I saw that in an email address. Awesome. Good.
Yep.
I'm so happy to meet you.
Yes, me too.
Happy you're here. All right.
So,
I'm going to let you go, and we're going to go to the next person.
all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. Next in the queue, I see Helen. Hi, Helen. I'm going to bring you on online. Good morning or good afternoon for you.
Thank you.
Do you have your cuppa? What are you drinking this morning or this afternoon?
I have a hot chocolate.
Nice. Are you
So,
feeling better? I know you weren't feeling well.
yes, kind of. I'm
Getting there.
getting there, just a little bit croaky. So if I sound a little bit gravelly and, you know,
Mm-hmm.
figures down the chalkboard, I'm sorry.
No worries. I'm glad that you're on the mend, though. So what questions do you have today? Or first, tell everyone, I see Sunflower Cottage Crochet. Tell everyone who you are, a little bit about your business, and then what question can we talk about today?
Okay, so I'm Helen. I'm the designer behind Sunflower Cottage Crochet. And I think my tagline on Etsy says, easy patterns for every day. That's what I like to do. I like to encourage people to go from beginner and just develop their skills one stitch at a time and work their way up and not feel like they're comparing themselves to anybody else in the process. So that's a lot of fun.
Awesome. I love that. I love the way that you encourage people. You really have a heart for that. So I love that about you and your business. What can I help you with today?
Okay, so I knew going into Q4, I was tired. I was ready for a break at the beginning of Q4, but you don't take a break in Q4 because that's where all the money is. That's where all your ad revenue is. That's when it gets super busy. That's when you've got all your customer service to deal with. And yeah, I really struggled through that. And then by the time I got to the 12th of December, which was officially my last day of work, then we got poorly. And I've been poorly for 3 weeks. So now I feel like I'm 3 weeks behind. I have, you know me, I'm super organized. I have to-do lists. And I don't just plan the day out what I'm going to do or the week out what I'm going to do. I have to-do lists for every day of the month. So this is what I'm going to do. And then if I get behind, then I get a little bit stressed about that. But because I was literally down and out for nearly 3 weeks, literally couldn't do anything. And now I just feel, I don't know whether to cry, whether to feel stressed and frustrated, or whether to just think, sod it all.
I go for sod it all and redo your to-do list. It's so much to, I know it's totally a mindset thing. My lighting is driving me crazy. I'm sorry. All right. It's totally a mindset thing of I'm 3 weeks behind when in actuality you were supposed to be taking a vacation anyway. Right?
Yeah,
So
I know.
not really 3 weeks behind.
You know what the annoying thing is? If somebody else was telling me this, I'd have all the answers for them, but I expect me to be up here. I have a certain expectation of myself, and when I don't meet those expectations, it's a weight. And I don't know what to do to change that in myself. And also, I was wondering if you had any hints and tips for going into Q4 this year now, so that I don't repeat the cycle.
Yes. Okay. So first, I do want you to. Normally, I would tell you to do some like go for a walk because walk is EMDR and it'll help you process some things. But I don't want you to do that because you're not feeling well. So I want you to like really work on that letting go of what you can't control, which is I have to let go of the fact that I couldn't work for the last 3 weeks because my health was not letting me do that. It's not like, oh, I chose to sabotage my business and not do any work when I should have been doing work. That's not the case. It's not anything. You're not bad. You didn't do wrong. Any of that. It's just that you were sick. And so give yourself lots of love and grace for that. And then rework your to-do list. Get rid of things that you don't need to do. I know I do this. I know you do this. You have things on your list that don't need to get done, right? Or they could get done during your super slow season. Put it in the middle of July and get it done then. It's not something that has to get done right now, and focus on prioritizing those things of what has to get done. What has deadlines? What are people expecting? What have I committed to? And then get rid of. Like if it's updated in old blog posts, do that another time. It'll get done eventually, but it's not the end of the world if you don't do it now. That's my directive for that. But as far as how to plan for Q4 of this year, right? What I want you to do, and I want you to put this on your calendar now, as put it 2 weeks before Q4. So what is that? The middle of September. I want you to write, when planning Q4, only do half. So you're doing half of what you want to say yes to, but you're saying no to half of the things. So if you're like, oh, I'll do that last minute blog hop, or yeah, I'll do that last minute bundle sale. No, you're not. You're not going to do that because you need to create that white space so that you can take time off. I think part of why we get sick at the end of the quarter or right before vacation time is because our body is finally like, oh my gosh, I can finally take care of myself. And I've been fighting all of this stuff for so long. And now I'm going to take a break, and then the illness comes. And I think that it's typical for people who are really busy, people who are very driven, to, as soon as your body sees vacation on the calendar, it says, I can finally just stop fighting. And then you get sick. And so, I mean, I don't think there's any scientific evidence to that, but it's been my experience. So put it on your calendar that you're going to take a break and you're going to ease into that last quarter. So October, November, maybe October's busy. November, you're going to chill out a little bit. And then December, you're just going to like, I'll do like my 1 or 2 blog posts, and that's it. I'm going to go grocery shopping. I'm going to spend time with my family. I'm going to bake, cook things, whatever you want to do in December. Leave December pretty open.
Okay.
And then just account for the fact that you may well get sick again. And that's why you're leaving the calendar open. And I hate to like put that like negative thought in your brain, but because I know how it impacts your heart when you don't get your work done. You're like task oriented and you're goal driven, and that means that we beat ourselves up.
Yeah.
What's that?
I feel like I let people down, so not just necessarily the designers that I might be collaborating with, but my people, because I'm not sending the email list, because I didn't do the January sale because I wasn't well enough to set it up and do all the things for that. So I know I do put a lot on my shoulders, but I just don't know how to stop doing that and make it okay.
I wonder if you could, on that same note that you just wrote, put pre-schedule everything. So if you know that Q1, you're going to have a sale in the beginning of the year, then you pre-schedule all of that. You don't have to, be there daily for a sale. You can pre-schedule all of your emails. You can pre-schedule all of your social media content. And all you have to do is make sure that your shop has the sale prices listed. So that's one task rather than like 5 daily tasks that you would normally do. If you schedule it ahead of time, that helps.
Okay. Thank you. I shall try.
All right. Yeah. I get it. I get it. I get it. You'll be okay. I think I'm going to write Helen on my notepad, and I'm going to put it on my Q3 and middle of my Q3 to say, check in with Helen and make sure that she doesn't overdo it in Q4. So, yeah. Well, I appreciate you hopping on with us this morning. I know it's not always fun when you're sick, and I hope I see you in a couple of hours. We have our mastermind call. So are you going to be able to come?
Yes. No, Richard's actually home because of the snow, so I'll make it tonight.
Oh, yay. All right. Awesome. So
Okay.
glad I'll get to see you twice today. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my gosh. I gotta figure out my lighting, you guys. I look like a ghost. Anyway, it doesn't matter. All right, Helen, I'm gonna let you go. All right. We have another someone waiting in our backstage. My dog's scratching at my door. I don't know if you can hear him. He wants to go out. But whatever. All right, I'm going to bring on Christine. Hi, Christine. Good morning.
I'm in my car.
As always.
I thought it was getting better, but it's not. That's okay.
I know we have these dreams about, once the kids get their driver's license, everything will change. And it starts off early, doesn't it? Like once they start walking, it'll get easier. Once they start school, it'll get easier.
Yeah, no, it never gets easier.
All right,
but my life has never gotten easier.
Yeah. So why
I
don't
will home this afternoon? I say that with a question mark, so we'll see. We'll see.
I hope you get some time to do your thing. Why don't you tell our folks who are watching this morning who you are, what your business is, and what's your question today?
I am Christine. I am the designer at Ambassador Crochet. I started designing in 2007. I don't even know how many years that is anymore. I lost track.
It's almost 20 years.
Maybe. I did it as a hobby up until maybe 3 years ago, and now it's my job. Yeah, so my question, I think, is I've tried it all when it comes to, well, for those that don't know, I have a lot of kids. I drive a lot. I work in my car a lot. I bring my laptop. I bring my iPad. I bring my crochet. I have my crochet. Like, I work in my car a lot. And so that part to me has become easy. It's easy to grab my crochet and make sure I have yarn and a hook in my car and I can work. I'm not really good about home time working. I've tried block scheduling. I've tried it all, and nothing really works other than make a big list and see what you can get done. Okay, you have half an hour, what can you get done? Or if you have, half a day, do the stuff that's more important. And sometimes I'm really good at that, and sometimes I'm not. And I would love to make this year the year where I kind of just figure out how to make the best use of my time, if that makes sense. For those that don't know, I work really well under pressure, so I wait until everything's an emergency, and then I'm great at getting it done. And I don't really want to be like that anymore. I haven't wanted to be like that for a couple of years, and I've been working out of it, but I still, under stress, under busy, I still tend to fall back into that, and I'm trying really hard. So is there another way? Block scheduling doesn't work for me because if one thing doesn't work in my favor, my entire life falls apart. like if I have half an hour, I'm supposed to do my tech editing in this half hour, and one of the kids ends up sick, or somebody has to go to the doctor, or whatever, it literally will throw my whole week off, and I'll get nothing done. I don't know why. I just can't miss that block and then move. I tried color coding it and giving myself more hours, and all the colors stressed me out because I have so much going on. So is there another way another way of trying to fit it all in, or make it work, or make the best use of my, I don't know. Like, I feel like just a big long list and then trying to get it all done. And when I don't, I carry it to the next week. I don't feel like some weeks it works, some weeks it doesn't. So I don't know, missing something.
I wonder if you could do like the in between where you make the big long list, but you have your like, I want to get these 3 things done today. If I get more, awesome. But these are my 3 things that I'm working on today. And you just focus on those and leave that big long list aside. Because I feel like, you know, when you talk about blocking and how if you miss one block or you don't get accomplished what you want, the whole day falls apart. I had this image of like your schedule is set up like Jenga, and like you pull out that last block and everything just falls down, and there you go.
Oh,
Now you're just left
that's
with
a
a big
very good
mess.
of the way I feel like my life is actually.
So let's not play Jenga. Let's do something else. So
But I see the challenge. If I can make it work, I'm gonna be the king of the tower.
Yeah, I think you need to make a smaller tower. Like
Well, it's funny because Helen and I just had this conversation yesterday. You just talked to Helen, and she's like, "What are you gonna get done today?" And I said, I gave her like 2 or 3 things, and she goes, she's looking at me, and I go, "What?" And she goes, "Your lists are way longer than this." And I was like, "No," I said, "I'm gonna stick with that." And then by the end of the conversation, like I had like 6 things on my list that I just needed to get done, and
Mhm,
again, I don't think I got them all done, you know. So
mhm.
that overachiever in me, like, oh, I can get this done. It's fine. It's not that much stuff. It's yeah. I guess
I know. I feel like our brains are wired similarly. So
yes.
sometimes when you talk about things, I'm like, I know, right? I just don't.
At least I know I'm not alone in this struggle, you know?
I could my list was the same way yesterday, and I was like, okay, I got these things to get done, and then my husband is like, we got to go to town at like 2 o'clock, and then I'm like, okay, so these 3 things are not going to get done, and they have to move to tomorrow. So then I have to like message my VA and said the thing I promised you is not going to get done, and it's annoying and it feels bad, but also we have to recognize like we're living life, right?
Yeah.
And life is all about being flexible and adapting to the things that happen. So each day is a fresh start to whatever that list is and whatever you want to get done. But I really recommend not giving yourself more than 3 things that like are the definite, like these are things I am going to get done today. And the other things, if I get those, that's a bonus. But don't let it like build your Jenga tower up so high that it's just already teetering and you're not even doing it, you know, like, does that
Well,
make sense?
yeah, no, it makes sense. And the other thing I've been noticing is the benefit of owning your own business, right, is the fact that you can make your own hours. You can stay home with your kids, which was why I started this. You can do those things. And so I keep so I've realized over the last couple of years when I've been trying to figure out my schedule and figure out how to make more things, not be able to do more things, just make it feel like I'm accomplishing more or feeling more accomplished, you know. I've realized that I'm trying so hard to work 7 to 3, 8 to 5, like normal people. And I don't need to do that. So
Mhm.
since probably December or November, I was trying to work like 2 or 3 hours in the morning and then do all the stuff with my kids and clean my house for like 3 or 4 hours in the middle of the day, and then maybe work for another hour or 2 at night. That seems to be working better for me. But like yesterday, I ended up not working those last couple hours at night. So that kind of threw me back into like, oh, here we go again, you know. Um, but I don't know if it's, you know, if it's funny that in the last 6 months, 2 different people tell me I have ADD, and I'm like, no, I don't. But I see things like that, and I know I can't sit for 8 hours. I mean, I could if I
Mhm.
had a job, but I don't have a desk job, you know. Um, and so is that break in the middle of the day good for me? So I work for 2 or 3 hours, take a break, work for 2 or 3 hours. Like that seems to work good for me if I can get back to those 2 or 3 hours at night, you know.
Mhm.
So
And so what if you don't get back to the 2 or 3 hours at night?
like
Are
yesterday,
you making
yeah,
up that that's the end of the world and you failed, or like what are you doing with that?
I have issues with feeling like I'm a failure. I know I do. And yeah, I feel like, oh, here we go again, or oh, I couldn't make this work either. That's just where my brain goes. I'm trying not to be like that, but
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, you deserve to be kinder to yourself. You
Yeah.
work so hard.
Thank you.
Yeah, you work so hard. You deserve to go golfing. You deserve to take some time off in the afternoon. And I know like you have your goals, you have your business goals and all of this stuff, but that balance is so, so important for your mental health. And so your brain is telling you, like, I like this structure of I work in the morning, I take some time off and let my brain rest and have some fun. I know that you like to be silly with your girls and you like to run around and do all kinds of things. Take the time to do that. And then if you can refocus and come back to it, that's when you do the rest of the things on your list, those other things on your list. But if you don't, beating yourself up for that is not really productive. And so I would encourage you to say, did you read my email yesterday I sent about permission slips? Go
No,
read my
not yet.
email that I sent yesterday.
Okay.
And I got that idea from talking with someone else in the mastermind, Katie, when we were talking about this, how we beat ourselves up for not meeting our own expectations of how hard we should be working. And the whole idea of the permission slip is I'm going to tell myself I get this many permission slips based on what I'm trying to get done. So for me, if I'm saying I'm going to be consistent and do a podcast episode every week, but I know myself and I know that every once in a while I'm going to get sick or life is going to happen, something's going to happen and I'm going to miss one. And then I'm going to beat myself up and it's going to take me months to get back on a schedule.
Right.
Because I'm beating myself up. But if I take control of my thoughts and I tell myself I have permission to miss 3 episodes a year. And when I miss it, I just fill out my permission slip of like, you're human and life happened and let's move on with life. Instead of, and it's just a symbolic, don't beat yourself up for this and don't get off track. Your goals are worth sticking to rather than beating yourself up. So I wonder if you could say, like, during the week, I'm going to try 3 days to do the afternoon work as well. And if I miss 2 days, it's fine. If I don't miss 2 days, great, that's a bonus. But giving yourself that permission to not have to be perfect every single day and meet that, expectation every single day is going to give you that space.
Yeah.
To not get into that mental spiral.
Because what you said, 6 months to get back on track, like that's me, and a lot of people do that. You miss 3 workouts and all of a sudden it takes you 6 months to start working out again.
Mhm.
I haven't run in 3 months. Don't tell anybody. So maybe I need to rewire my brain and not. I tend to be, I've said this before, I'm either 200% in on something or I'm 0 because I feel like I've failed or I feel like I can't do it or, so a lot of it's just mental work for me, not necessarily time.
Mhm. So it's all about reframing and like being really conscientious about that for yourself. So taking control of those thoughts rather than letting them take control of you.
Yeah.
Does that help?
Yeah. I mean,
Can you-
I guess there's just that weight of knowing like, okay, now this is my only income. I think for me, that's like my biggest, like, that to me adds like another layer of stress on top of feeling like a failure. But now I can't fail because I don't want to go back to work. I've made this commitment and, but I need the money. You know what I mean? So like it's
you use that as in a positive way because I know like you said, you operate really well under stress on deadlines and in this space of chaos and drama, which is not good for you, but you know that that's the way your brain works. So you've created now a constant state of this, which means you have to even do a better job of taking care of yourself because your body is in a constant state of, I got to get the bills paid. I got all these kids. I got college to pay for. I've got dancing lessons to pay for, whatever. fishing poles to pay for, all of that stuff. So you've created this constant state of stress and striving. So those times that you take off to take care of yourself are really, really important.
Yeah, and it's funny because I feel like those are the things that fuel me. Like, I want to be a survivor. I want to prove everybody wrong. I love a challenge. Like, those are the things that fuel me to make this work and to do it and to keep going. And yet they're the same things that make me like stress out or make me feel like a failure or make me, you know what I mean? And I don't know how to, because they fuel me, I don't know how to break that cycle because they're also good for me. You know, I don't make a challenge where, oh, let me see if I can make an extra $5,000 next year. No, I'm going to make $100,000. Like, I can't make small goals. I can only make these huge goals that are ridiculous that I don't know that anybody can make, you know? I don't know.
I'm trying to figure out what to do with you.
I'm trying to figure it out too. No, it's okay. I
know you're going to be fine.
I would just love to maybe alleviate the pressure that I put on because if it was anybody else, I would give them 100% grace. I would tell them that they can do it, that they're going to be okay, that they don't, but I don't do that for myself, you know, which I think most of us are like that, but, and I know I'm going to be okay. So how do I get rid of that pit in my stomach that makes me question it or makes me feel like a failure when I don't get another, you know, I don't know. It's just, I think I just got to keep working at it.
I think it's going to be a constant battle with your own brain.
Yeah.
And so having friends, like I know you have Helen to connect with and talk about, and you have me and you have the mastermind and you have your other friends in the crochet business. But I think it's really important that you actually do that and you don't get lost in the isolation of, wow, I'm really spiraling right now.
Yeah.
And then having that accountability to keep going. So, like, recognize what permission do you want to give people to kick your butt? Like, do you need people to be like, it's okay to be imperfect, or do you need people to say you're falling short? Why are you doing this to yourself?
You know, it's funny you say that because I do have people that will hold me accountable and they'll get on my case when I don't do things that I said I was going to do. But it doesn't make me do them, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I know these people are going to check on me. I know sometimes it's that 0 or 200%. Sometimes I'm like, I got to get this done because somebody's going to check on me. And other times I'm like, I'm not going to get it done. I'm just going to deal with them giving me a hard time that I didn't get done. Like, so I know it's me, you know. This wasn't supposed to turn into a therapy session.
This is not therapy. I am not your therapist. I think it's, wait, I have a thought.
Okay.
Shoot, I lost it. It was about like, what is your currency in the first place? Like, what is it? Because, so I know for me, if someone is holding me accountable and they're going to kick me in the butt for not doing what I want to do, I'm going to dig in my heels and not do it 10 times worse than I wasn't going to do it before. Because that's just my own rebellious self. Like, and so sometimes being held accountable is worse for me than, so as soon as I get permission to not do the thing, then it becomes we've talked about this before, a get to or a want to rather than a have to. As soon as it turns into, you have to do this thing, I don't want to do it and I'm not going to do it. I can't make myself do it. And so I want you to recognize in yourself, what is it that motivates you? For me, my highest value is freedom. Let me do what I want to do. And so as soon as you tell me I have to do something, I'm not doing it.
And it's funny, I would have thought that accountability works for me because I'm a deadline driven person, but I don't, now that you say that, I don't know that that's what it is, because I'm more of a challenge driven person. If you say I can't do something or something can't be done, I will find any way to do it just to prove somebody wrong.
Uh-huh.
I don't mean it like that, but like, like I had to run a half marathon because it seemed impossible. And then it was like, well, and I was like, I'm only running one. I'm not, and then it was, I'm going to do another one just to prove that I could do it more than one. Like, it just turns into this like drive. And it's usually when I usually am more motivated when something seems impossible, or when I can't, when I'm not supposed to be able to do it, or not supposed to be able to, maybe that's why I've set those really high income goals, or I set those really stupid goals every year for myself in my business. Because I read a book, it might've been 10X, and it was something like, instead of setting a goal to make $30,000 in your business when you make 28 or 25 every year, why aren't you setting a $100,000 goal? If you make 90, you're going to fall short, but you're still going to make more than if you had set a $35,000 goal. That's kind of where I kind of agree with that mindset. I know it's not for everybody. I know they like to be able to hit their goals. And sometimes, I set that stupid goal, and then you get 6 months in or halfway through, and then I'm like, oh, I'm not going to make it, so I don't even try. You saw that with my course. Like, I didn't meet the deadline goal, so I just dropped it all together, but it never left my mind. I still needed to finish it to know I could accomplish it. I don't know.
And we're going to work together to relaunch that this year. Yeah. So what do you feel like you want the next step to be as far as getting this under control?
I feel like consistency, and maybe like a process would be good for me. But again, the process only works if my life cooperates. So I guess it's coming up with a way to be consistent and work at my business, but not beat myself up if I feel like a failure, or not feel like a failure, because why can I see all the progress first sometimes, but if I look at where my business was 3 years ago, I'm very happy with my business. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't, maybe that,
I feel like consistency with grace. Like you're setting up these goals of this is what my day is going to look like, but also like committing to, I'm sorry about my dog. Can you hear the dog? I hope not. He needs to knock it off. He wants to go outside. So being consistent, but also committing to the mindset of, I get to be human. I get to, every once in a while, not do the thing that I wanted to do. And then just live with it and move on.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could track your thoughts around that, and just like make note of all the times you beat yourself up, and then bring that back, and we could chat about it. We could chat about it in the mastermind. It doesn't have to be here on this call, but because we need to take control of that. Like the whole negative thinking about, and we talked about this with Helen too, that whole like beating yourself up because you got sick, beating yourself up because you were too tired to come back to work in the afternoon. It's just not like totally rational, right? So Yeah.
Yeah, I think not beating myself up and staying focused. Like if I know I'm running out the door, I'm not going to have any internet access. I work really well and I get my stuff done. It's when, social media is terrible. And right now it's taking me like an hour or two every day to put people in my group, which is crazy. I should be paying my kids to do it. But like I get sucked in and then you start scrolling social media and then you start doing all this
Mhm.
stuff that really doesn't impact your business. And then,
Yeah.
but when I'm focused and I know I have a deadline, I can ignore all that. And I wish I could do that all the time.
Well, I
Um,
wonder if during your day when you do have the time that you're working, you set up mini blocks where, especially with social media, of I am doing this for 10 minutes. I'm setting a timer. I'm getting on social media. I'm posting what I want to post. I'm engaging with people I want to engage with. I'm answering the comments from my post that I did yesterday or whatever. And then I'm shutting it down and getting on with the next task that I need to focus on. For me, I get stuck in TikTok. People are so entertaining and interesting. And I get into this whole thing of like, I want to see what people are up to. And it's ridiculous. And I could spend like 3 or 4 hours just doing this. And it's such a
Right.
waste of time. So setting a timer is a really helpful thing. And
Yeah.
Farron says that you guys need to talk because she has a lot of the same stuff too. So
Okay.
maybe you guys should connect offline. Farron from I'll Be
Yeah.
Hooked.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
Hey, thank you.
Did that help a little bit?
Yes.
What are you going to get
Yeah,
done before we talk later today?
What am I going to get done? I am going to, I don't know. I'm going to write one blog post. How's that?
Awesome. What's it going to be about?
It's going to be about what I'm not going to do this year.
Awesome. I love it. Like beat yourself up.
Yes.
But you are going to have unrealistic expectations.
Oh, I am. So I won't put that on the list.
And it's good because it works for you. And so for some people, it doesn't.
Five things I'm not going to do this year. Instead of like making all these resolutions I'm going to break, I try and write things I just want to change. If that makes sense. So I'm going to write that. I didn't do it here, so I'm going to write it.
Okay, good. I look forward to it.
Okay.
All right. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for being here. Bye. All right. Okay, so we have about 10 minutes left. We have 2 people backstage. Erin, I'm not 100% sure we're going to be able to get to you, but thanks for being here. I so appreciate you. We have our next person is Nika. Nika, if you're driving, I don't really want to chat if you're driving. Are you driving? I'm going to bring you up on stage and then you can tell me. If you are driving, I'm going to have you send me an email and then I will answer your question on email.
Oh, no, I just pulled into my space. Like I literally just got to where I was supposed to be. So,
And that is
yay.
good timing. Yeah, I just don't want to, be the cause of
We want to be
distraction.
safe. We want to be safe. So no distracted driving.
Great. So are you good now? Why don't you, I think this is our first time talking. I have you
Yes,
frozen.
it is. I'm actually in your Facebook group, and I follow you on YouTube. And I saw your video yesterday, and it was like, oh, we're gonna start this coffee chat, and I was like, oh, that sounds so cool, and it's right at the right time because I am doing all sorts of things to myself like Christina. So I really I really, really enjoyed your advice to her because it was like talking to me as well. So this kind of cut down my question like a lot.
You know, it's really helpful to know that you're not alone in all of that though,
Yes,
isn't it? Which is why I
yes,
think these kinds of things are so helpful for people to be like, "Oh my
yes,
gosh, me
it
too.
is.
Okay, I'm not
They
alone."
are, yeah. So it's like, that whole me too. Yep, me too, me too. Um, so hi.
Hi, tell me a little bit about what's your business, and what do you
So
do in your business?
I am just getting started with my business. I've been crocheting for I don't even know how long, probably since I was a little girl. It's something that, my grandma, my mom, and then I was like, oh, it's so nice to make things with your hands. So, but this year, so off and on over the years, I made stuff and I was just like, oh, so now I'm home all the time. I haven't had an outside job for many years because my little guy is special needs.
Mm,
So it's really difficult to have a 9 to 5. And so over the last couple years, I've been making things, doing some little freelance work, um, some virtual assistant. Like I've been all over the place, just trying to replace a
mhm,
9 to 5 income. Then I'm a massage therapist by trade, but then of course I can't get out to massage people because I have to be available and accessible.
mhm,
So the probably the second half of last year, I decided you are going to do basically a confections and crafts business
mm,
because I bake. And so the idea behind my business is that nostalgia, that feel good, like we go into grandma's house so we could get a delicious baked treat. We have a nice crochet gift because, just that homey feeling to kind of bring everybody back because we've gotten so out of touch with just love,
mhm,
so that's kind of the idea behind what I do. And I've had like my cottage food license, which is basically being able to bake from home, for like 4 years, and I've done absolutely nothing. So this year is the year that I said no, 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 you are going to utilize your talents. So my thing is with crochet, I definitely am wanting to do that. Like I downloaded your pricing calendar and your pricing calculator, excuse me, and uh, really enjoyed. You had a video on the profit first model, and that really helped me
good.
kind of hone into being able to do crochet for financial resources because we always tend to not want to sell our goods. Oh, well, I don't want to charge that because, but it's a necessity.
Mhm.
You have to charge what
You need to
I'm
make a
going to say
profit or
what
you
you're
don't
worth.
have a business.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyway, I've been caught up trying to find my niche. So I had the idea to do gifts and home decor. And then I get online and I'm like, I don't really see people being as successful. Like all I'm really seeing is like plushies and different like fashion. And I'm like, I don't really fit in that space. You know what I'm saying? So I'm having a hard time honing down my niche. Like I said, I would love to do gifts and home decor. And
Mhm.
when I say gifts, I love making dolls. I love
Mm,
making dolls. I love making black dolls. So that has been really profitable for me. But I also like making like the little snugglers, they're the little unstuffed bodies for kids
mhm,
and babies. And since my little guy, he's autistic, they love the feel of those plushies. So I made a lot of goldfish just so that they can have that soft tactile experience.
mhm.
So I really like that, but I'm like, is that profitable? So I'm having a hard time trying to give myself permission to say, okay, your crochet is going to be gifts and home decor, because I love making blankets and things like that. So I'm having a hard time trying to tell myself, yes, that's okay to go into.
Mm. So a lot of being a business owner comes down to checking in with your gut and saying, what is it that fuels my passion? Like,
Mhm.
there's a lot of things that you like to do. For anybody, there's a lot of things that you like to do, but eventually we have to say no to some things in order to say yes to what's going to be profitable and life-giving for ourselves. Like, you don't want your
Right.
business to suck the life out of you. That's a
Right.
no-go.
Right.
So I posted something on social media the other day that was like a Venn diagram that says what you love to make, what you can make money making, what your customers will spend money on, and what your customers want. So, you want all 4 of those ingredients in order to come up with your product line. So it feels like you already know sort of the feeling you want to evoke with both the food that you're making and the products that you're making. And so the question would be, who is willing to spend money or spend their time coming to a blog post or something like that for those kinds of resources, and then build your ideal customer profile around that person.
Okay.
So I really like, as you're talking, I'm so sorry about my dog.
That's
Next time
okay. No,
he's gonna get
I can't really. I don't hear it until you say, it, and then I'm like, oh, there it is.
um, as you're talking, I get this sense of the whole grandma's house thing with the baked goods and the warmth and the coziness and the nurturing and all of that. And multiple types of products can fit into that feeling. So, and you might, you talked about you like to make black dolls. And it could be that you want to speak to the audience, that same audience, with all of the things that you're bringing in. Maybe some African American cultural baked goods, or those kinds of things of like, what was it like to go to grandma's house and what was the food that she was making? And, speaking around that language of that just coziness of grandma's house. And then who's looking for that? What's the community that you want to speak to, and building your entire business around those people and speaking to them in everything that you do. And then, so that's your niche, is the people. And then you build multiple different product lines to speak to that, whether it's a recipe or a physical product, or eventually if you want to design, same thing, you're speaking to the same people. So it keeps that cohesive message in your business. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. It does. And it's actually really helpful.
It
'Cause
feels like it could really be something. It feels so like you just want to snuggle in. Like grandmas
yeah,
are soft, right? At least I
yeah,
am as a grandma. I'm super
yeah.
soft. So like my grandson just likes to like snuggle in and all the squishiness, and that just feels so nurturing in a time when our culture doesn't always it feels hard often. So creating that space of just coziness and all of as you're building out your branding, it's all of that like cozy soft colors and all of that. So just think of that messaging as you're building out your vision for your brand.
Okay. Okay. Yes, that is very, very helpful. And it actually tampers down my anxiety because um, I kept feeling like I want to do this, but I don't know that it's profitable. So the way you've pulled it in and said, don't you didn't say this, but this is what I got. Don't focus so much on the product. Focus on the audience and cater your product to the audience
Mhm.
versus trying to make a product that caters to an like
Mhm.
the other way around.
Yeah,
So that's
whenever you make a thing and say, now I got to go find someone who wants to buy this, you're
yeah.
doing things backwards. So what you're going to
Okay.
do is say,
Yep.
I know who I'm selling to. Now I need to make things that they want, things
Okay.
that will speak to them. And that's all within the context of that cozy grandma's house vibe that you're going for.
Perfect. Perfect.
Fun. I can't wait
Thank
to see what you
you.
do with that.
Oh, I know. I'm gonna let you know. Definitely. I'm gonna post in the group.
Awesome.
I'm saving up for the mastermind. So
Awesome.
that's on my goals list because I said, I want to do all these things, but I don't have the extra money because I'm doing none of the things that I know how to do. So definitely, that's one of my goals for this year, to start bringing in an income from my talents so
Mhm.
that I can get the support that I need to be even more successful.
Great. I am so happy that you popped in today. I'm glad to
Thank
meet you.
you.
I'm excited for your journey.
Yay. Thank you so much,
Awesome.
Pam. You've been
All right.
wonderful.
All right. Well, I will keep an eye out for you, and thanks. Thanks again. We'll talk
Thank
to you soon.
you.
Awesome. Okay. It is time. Our hour is up. My dog desperately wants to go outside. And so I'm going to let you all go today. I'm going to check out your comments once we get offline, and I'll answer any questions that you might have. If you're watching on the replay and you have questions, or you have some tips for any of the folks who so bravely came on this morning to chat with us, go ahead and leave those in the comment section. And I will be back again in 2 weeks for another Coffee with Crochetpreneur. Same time, same place. And again, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the things. If you're a crochet business owner, you'll be getting crochet business tips throughout the month. So thanks for being here, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.